the cell phone. I was going to try to do it on my phone, but there's like 2 towers for Troy, and one of them didn't have any electricity, and so everybody was bombarding the other one. So like we could only get a 3G speed signal. So.
It wasn't meant to be today. Yeah.
No, well, she lives in Troy too, the one I was going to do the Zoom with. So when I texted her and I said, we don't have any power, and can we move this? And she's like, yeah, I don't have any power or anything either.
Yes, Charlotte.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to set up I'll send you a link.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Yeah, what is your email? Give me your email, Laura. I think I have it, but.
Laura_Cummings at Verizon.net.
It's Cummings.
Correct.
Verizon.net. I will take care of that. Thank you.
Okay.
The good news is the new roof isn't leaking.
Well, that is good news.
They just finished it this week, so better not be leaking.
Well, it's always good to get the first rain in quickly, so you find that out.
Yeah, well, yeah, the old roof had all the holes in it from the hail, and they had caulked all the holes so that we wouldn't leak while we were waiting.
Okay, we hit 9 o'clock.
Hey.
Hey, Pip.
Hey,
How are
everybody.
you?
How are we?
We are
Good.
good. Long day, but good.
Good. We are in Davenport, Florida. We are awaiting the arrival of our second granddaughter.
Mhm.
Katie is just starting contractions. So
Oh, exciting.
possibility of them heading out tonight or possibly early tomorrow. We don't know, but we are here.
Uh-huh.
We're here for several more days at least.
Yay.
And we have a new background. We have a new audio room, video room. So we're making the best of our situation.
There you go.
Yay.
So
Well, that's exciting.
it is exciting, but everything business-wise is still on. We're making appointments with the caveat that it may be canceled at our discretion.
Right.
Because.
Babies are not on a timeline.
No,
Nope.
and this one is definitely not ready to come out. I think he's on the inside doing this.
Was that a slip? You said he.
No, she.
Maybe they got it wrong.
No, I don't think so. I hope not. But anyway, that's our situation.
Okay.
So what kind of updates do we have this week? What's our good news?
I had two calls scheduled for today. I had to move one because we have a really big storm that moved through. We lost power for a long time and internet and stuff, and it was during when my calls were supposed to be. So we moved that to Wednesday. So, and then I got 3 more people we're trying to schedule calls with right now. We're in the process of, because we're leaving Friday, so we're trying to figure out when we can fit everybody in between now and Friday.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. And your new business partners who started last week.
Yes, she said she was going to start contacting people. See, school was out Wednesday, so Thursday. So when I checked in with her this weekend, she was unavailable, out of town, skydiving. So I have to check back in with her.
Okay.
She was jumping out of an airplane this weekend.
Yeah, I heard. Is she going to be joining us on Monday nights?
I asked her if she wanted to, if she wanted Beth to include her in the information, and she said yes. And so I sent Beth her cell phone number and stuff. So I don't know if the invite got to her or not. I don't know.
Okay. All right. What else?
We actually had a really good call on Tuesday and Friday with the doctor that Beth's helping us with. He was looking at websites and Nutrimetrics, and then he had a call with Brandy Murphy,
Mm-hmm.
and that went really well. And I got a text today from his fiance, the esthetician. I had asked her Friday, do you want to order any more products besides the samples I sent? She goes, no, when Joe registers his business, I'll order the products from him directly. I'm like, oh, so it sounds like it's really moving along, and we meet with them tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of when and like whether we're doing websites and Nutrimetrics or like, so that's been going. And then I reached out to, I had to talk to our financial planner who's like 32 years old. He's so young. He's like, he looks like one of our kids. But he owns a Morgan Stanley office type thing. And he said his wife hasn't been working. And I asked him, I just said, hey, would you be willing to look at this? He said, absolutely. So I have a call with them on Wednesday. We'll see what happens.
Well, and that's a perfect example of, it may not be for him, but he runs into a lot of people who need it.
And I'm thinking Debt Shredder is always a nice fit there too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Okay,
it for
good.
me.
Yeah, go ahead, Denise.
That's okay. You can go ahead.
Okay. Well, I've been on a product mission to improve my product sales, but putting it out there, and specifically adding it to my goal statement, my phone's been ringing instead. So I've gotten 2 reorders
Good.
this week and 1 to be put on auto ship. And in fact, when she reordered, it was the Cannabiquin. She's now reordered 2 today, so she didn't run out. So that was good news. Could have done better with Zooms this past week. Had a lot of no-shows, but new week this week.
Yep. Okay. Denise?
We had, I had a new customer register the other day who was actually the son of a good friend of mine, and I don't even know how he got my website. So I texted her to ask her if she knew, what was going on. But and he ordered something off shop.com. So I sent him a nice little email welcoming him and just kind of reminding him who I was, because we've met him several times, but he lives up in Wagner. So, but he was not somebody that was really on my radar. But he and his fiance are young, in their 20s, or wife, I'm sorry, they're married now. So that's a new person to be kind of looking out for. And a current customer who has actually seen the business, and she keeps coming back to me about it. But the last time she came back to me, I said, no, this is not really what you want to do. But she started on her 3rd product with us last month, and she texted me today and said, send me that link to your website again. And I said, are you looking for a specific product? And she said, I need those pills before I run out. And I said, well, let me just order them for you. I'll have them drop shipped to you. Because she usually pays me direct anyway. And so that way I'll save her shipping. But she's on enough product now that if she had an interest to come back and look at the business again, she's already using her monthly BV requirements. So that's another step with her. It's been a 2-year process. And then we have 1 scheduled call for tomorrow, and 2 others that said that they would look at it this week, but haven't been able to pin down a time yet. So I've got to follow up with them again.
Okay.
And 1 went off, it was Amway. So that was my week.
Good. Okay. Let's change places.
I don't know. Has everybody gone?
Everybody's gone.
Okay.
You can sit.
All right.
I'll be a gentleman.
I get to sit, and I don't have to sit on the floor.
No, I do.
You do. You have to kneel. So, well, I just want to say, it's interesting to listen to Elizabeth talk to this team, because some of these people on this other call are on Elizabeth's team, but not all of us. And there's a number of different pin levels. There's people who have just started recently and are just getting their first person. There's people who have been only with the business for 6 months. And then there's people who have been there. I mean, there's a director on the call as well, who's worked with Elizabeth, who's not on Elizabeth's team, but has worked with Elizabeth, kind of like I'm working with Elizabeth. So one of the things I just want to give you all credit is one of the things that she's really talking about with them is one of the things that they're missing is the fact that they're bringing people on board who are bringing people on board, but they're not moving enough BV. And in order for them to get to their next PIN levels, they're working on action plans on how to get that BV up. And she's now talked to all of them the last couple weeks of how they need to be adding a wellness event into their Zooms. And so it's interesting. So you guys, we're ahead of the curve there. And so I just want to say kudos because all of you are working on getting your customer bases. And that's key because if these people come on board and they don't have customers, then it becomes that they feel like they're spending money and they're not getting anything in return. So it's really important to have customers. And I know a lot of you, and I say a lot of you because I know a lot of people listen to this on a recording as well. I know a lot of you have worked very hard to get your customers and you continue to work on that. And it's so vitally important because as she and I were talking about on the call tonight with everyone, sometimes that's part of the process of getting belief for someone. Like I did a call the other night or the other week with somebody, did a part 1. And I think I shared this last week, actually. I did a part 1. Laura did the part 1 with me. She booked the part 2, but then canceled the part 2. And I think I shared that last week. Well, I went back to her and told her because she had shown some interest in health and nutrition. And so I went back to her and let her know that I had a wellness event I could plug her into that was going on another part of our team. And it was with not a pediatrician, but a guy that works with children. And I said, you know, you have so much, you're an advocate for health and nutrition for children. I thought you might be interested in this. So last week when I talked to you guys, I thought she was lost. Like I thought we were done. And I went back to her with that. And she was like, I would love to listen to that. Now she couldn't be on it. So I had to send her the recording, but she's now communicating with me again. And so I'm supposed to follow up with her tomorrow because she was supposed to take time to watch the recording this weekend after she finished her project on Friday. So with all that being said, I just want to encourage you, don't give up on people. You've got to meet them where they are and figure out where they are. The fact that I asked enough questions at the beginning made me realize when she pulled back from the business that maybe I might be able to go back around with product. But we were just talking the other night about that it's so important to ask these questions. And I know a lot of you are asking, you know, what should I say? Like we had a lunch meeting today with Lori and she was saying, you know, I have a lunch meeting with a customer on Wednesday. What do I say to get her to look at the business? And I said, you're going to go in and you're going to ask her questions. You're going to ask her questions like, this was a customer that came to her via the company. The company gave it to her. And she's now moved her from OPC to Daily Essentials in a matter of 3 weeks. So now the girl is like, oh, I'd love to get my hands on a catalog. So I said, go ask her, find out how she was introduced to OPC3. How long has she been on OPC3? You know, what are some of her health goals? Why did she start on OPC3? I said, you might find out that she used to be an unfranchised owner. You might find out that she was a customer of someone else's and got frustrated or whatever. Find out the story because there's always a backstory, always. And so it's again coming down to asking enough questions and not being in what we've been talking about, presentation mode. So I just want to encourage all of you, and Elizabeth was really talking very heavily tonight about on these part 1s and part 2s to make sure, and I know that we've been driving this home, to make sure that when you get somebody on that Zoom that you have somebody there with you for that Zoom. And if you are already an executive coordinator or above and you don't have somebody with you, to make sure they're jumping on for at least 5 minutes to have that conversation. But if you're not executive coordinator or above, do not even try and do these Zooms by yourself. The only Zoom you would do by yourself is a get to know you, build the relationship, and ask them if they would evaluate and look at the part one. And that part one, you should never, ever do alone. So with that being said, I want to open it up and ask, do you guys want to go through some of the slides again and practice the slides? Again, I don't want you to be in presentation mode, so I want to make it more conversational, but do you guys want to go through the slides? Do you want to go through horizontal versus vertical, cash flow quadrant, or would you like to actually discuss some of the situations you've had and how to go about them? I mean, do you have actual live examples that you'd like to discuss? Because this is your meeting. It's not our meeting. It's your meeting. And I know a lot of you have some stuff actually going on now in the funnel.
Well,
Don't everybody go at once.
well, in back up to the wellness events, like, are we going to like put that out to all of us and then just limit it to a certain amount of people?
Yes. Yes. So I actually have on my schedule, I talked to Eric Giroux. I know all of you have seen him speak before. Eric has reached out to me this past week and asked me if we would like to do anything together with his team, so that we can kind of cross-pollinate and work together. And I said, absolutely, we would love to. So he actually has a wellness event planned for June 1st. I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's at 7 o'clock, but don't quote me. It might be 7:30. But June 1st, which I believe is
A Monday.
it's a Monday. So I haven't added it to my calendar yet. I have to look back at my notes. I think it's at 7 or 7:30. So the question is, do we want to join in with him? Because here's what I was telling him is, I don't want it to be, from this point forward, we've done 3 wellness events online that all of you have partaken in or at least watched a recording of. So I don't want it to be Pip and I running it. I want it to be more of a shared experience. You don't want too many people doing it because then it gets crazy and too long-winded. But I think that we really need to think about, how we're going to move forward with that. So with that being said, if you guys feel that you would like to participate in that, the thing is, we don't want it to be overloaded with unfranchised owners and no guests, just like we want it in a home. And we don't want them to get too big, because when they get too big, then people don't feel like they've been received. The guest does not feel received. So it's really important that we do enough of them so we can keep them small enough, but not too many of them that they are too small and we don't have enough people on them. So with that being said, is there anybody that would like to participate that has someone ready to attend some type of wellness event that you would like to invite to a wellness event for June 1st?
Well, I could check. I have Amanda, who's on a trial run. Her new customer, her whole entire family would like to attend one.
Would they all be in one room?
I'd
Do they
have
live
to check
together?
on that. I'd have to check on that. If she lives with her parents or how that's set up. I'd have to check.
Okay.
I'll ask.
Okay, so Laura, you're definitely, so that would be how many people? Amanda plus 3?
Plus at least 3.
Okay.
Mhm.
I can definitely say I'm out because we'll be driving.
Okay.
We'll be in the RV that day.
Okay. Okay. So you won't
I'll
be
have
on, you won't be on the call next week then, Stacia?
Probably not, because I think we're probably not going to be getting home until 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And if I try to get on the call, I mean, I can try, but it'll be cutting in and out.
Okay, just trying to make sure we know who's who. Denise, Paul, Charlotte, Lynn. Is Lynn Linda?
Where are you at?
It's me,
Hey there.
Linda.
You're breaking up a little bit, but I can hear it too. Try and talk again.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Let me turn my speakers up because you're really faint. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, perfect. I moved you a little closer.
Oh, good. I'm glad I'm close. This is as close as we get to be during COVID-19.
You notice I have my screen blanked out.
You can't look any worse than the rest of us after a 3-day weekend.
Actually, I have hair and makeup done today, so I actually could be on screen.
Oh, well then
Put your picture on.
put your picture on. I'm just waiting for a baby to arrive.
I could do like start video. Is that what I do?
Whoop,
Oh, there we
garbled.
go. Okay.
Yeah,
Hello.
she doesn't have a good connection.
For Monday, I don't know if I'll have anybody, Beth, for Monday. I'll work on it this week though.
Okay. So Charlotte.
And I have a couple of people I can invite. I don't know that I have anybody that would be ready to or not, but there's a few I can definitely ask.
Hey, Lynn,
Hi, can anybody hear me? Because you guys keep stopping.
we can hear you.
We can
Okay,
hear
good.
you, but you look frozen.
I am frozen. I don't know why it keeps freezing. I live in Arizona and my screen is freezing.
And it's like 110 degrees.
Not quite. Close.
There you are.
So I don't know if you're going to be able to answer, but do you have some people, Lynn, that would like to get on a wellness event on a Zoom?
I don't have any, well, there's a couple I'm thinking of that I can reach out to and see. I don't know if I can get them on for Monday, but there's a couple people that I'm have in mind that we had done that wellness, that event way back, that said after the first of the year, and then of course everything happened. So haven't really been in touch with them, but a couple people that I was thinking of asking
Okay,
see
good.
if they would be interested.
Good. Well, here's the thing. We're going to try to do these pretty regularly, like maybe every other week, so that we always have some, and it's not always going to be on a Monday night. So we'll try to stagger things so that we can get enough events going. I know a lot of you have been asking me about convention, and we still, Elizabeth just asked if anybody has heard anything, because she has heard nothing. And she assured us that we would all, she said, as soon as she knows, we would all know. She will let us know. So the fact that she doesn't know,
Nobody knows.
nobody knows. Now, we do have a call scheduled with JR on Wednesday. Today's Monday. So we have a call with JR scheduled on Wednesday. So whether he likes it or not, I will be asking him on that call whether we have any insight. So I know it's a hard call. I know it's a really hard call. But anyway, whether that event is online or whether that event is in person and online, or whatever that it looks like, we have got to make sure that we are doing our part 1s, our part 2s, and our wellness events leading up to that. This is I cannot stress this enough, that these are the best 2 months for you to lead up to an event. So you have your 2 months leading up to World Conference in February, but the challenge with that is you're always dealing with the holidays. These 2 months leading up to August convention, you're not dealing with holidays. So you've got June and July that are huge, and whatever you do in June and July, this has been proven to us over and over again, whatever you do in May, June, July will feed you all the way through to the end of the year. It's and that's why the end of the year, like October, November, December, always ends up being heavy, heavy sponsoring months. Because if you do your work in May, June, and July, it feeds over to the end of the year. So even though the holidays come, like Lynn, you did your registration in December. A lot of people do their registration at the end of the year because they're looking towards the next year going, what am I going to do differently? And so I really want to encourage you guys, don't let May, June, and July get away from you. utilize them, because whether we have an event in person or not, we're going to have an event. They're not going to cancel the event. Even if it's online, it's going to be huge, just like the event that they just had for Hong Kong. So it's a matter of making sure that we're doing those part ones and part twos and wellness events. So we will have a wellness event and we'll try and stagger it. So if you ever need a wellness event, I don't know who I was talking to last week. If you need a wellness event at a certain time for a group of people that we're not scheduling it for, all you have to do is speak up. But over the summer, we typically will not schedule too many wellness events on Saturdays and Sundays, because once the summer hits, except for Arizona, once the summer hits, people are like, they want to be out and they have light. It's light until 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. They want to be out on their boats. They want to be out on the water, whatever. So weekends aren't typically the best time for events during the summer. So we really have to roll with our evenings. And evenings, again, are typically, right now with COVID, you know, somewhere like 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock Eastern time is working. But Lynn, if you have a group of people that need it to be later, then that needs to be discussed, because we can always make that happen if we need to.
Yeah, I told her that was fine, because now that I don't get up at 5 a.m., I can stay up late at night.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can be like us.
Mine would be more like 6 or 7, which would be 9 or 10 for you guys.
That's all right. That's
Okay, I can do that now.
My brain works better at 9 and 10 at night than it does at 9 or 10 in the morning.
Me
Of course,
too.
I'm starting work at 6 a.m. I only have to walk 10 steps to my office now, but
Mhm.
still, I'm up at 5 a.m. So yeah, I'm still in bed pretty early.
I'm up at 2.
Yeah, and you don't go to bed till late. You're just like,
Actually, yeah, that's true. I don't go to bed until 2 a.m.
yeah, you're an anomaly.
That's 11 p.m. Alaska time. I've just never shifted my time zone.
There you go. You're still an Alaskan girl.
Are you from Alaska?
Yeah. Yep. I grew up there. I was born on vacation in Florida, though.
My son just took a job in Alaska.
Yep. I spent my whole young life up there. Married a
Anchorage?
military person and moved.
All
Did
right.
you live in Anchorage?
I'm going to ask you guys to take that conversation off
Okay.
so that we can get to what we came here for. So my question that I posed to all of you, do you guys want to discuss your business? Do you want to discuss, I know Laura brought up the wellness events. Does anyone, who wants to discuss what do you want practice with? What do you want to talk about?
I think the thing I'm trying to figure out the most is more content, I guess, social media content than I am anything right now. Because when I'm talking to people and texting them and stuff, right now, at least I'm not having any problem getting any, conversations going and stuff, at least the last couple weeks. But getting, and when I'm in the groups and stuff, getting people to respond, isn't a problem. But just posting on content on Facebook, trying to get more.
Stacia, have you ever heard of Ton Dombrow?
No.
Okay. Ton does a really good internet social media training. It's called an ISM training. And his name is spelled THANH. It's like John with a T, so it's pronounced Ton, but it's THANH. Look up his ISM training. It's internet social media training. He did one a couple of weeks ago. I wish Carl was on here because Carl knows him. If you can't find it, just let me know. But he did one a couple weeks ago. And he's also the one that, I don't know how many of you saw that Pip and I are doing a local with him and with Larry Rogowski on June 27th. So even though it's a local for the 3 locals in Florida, anybody can come because it's now via Zoom. So I would highly recommend, we have been planning it out. This is actually going to probably be pretty fun because it's the two bald guys and the bald girl with the guy with hair. But we've been having a lot of fun planning it. We're all very, very different personalities, but we're bringing all of our different techniques together, and we've been actually discussing them so we can plan the local out, because it's not easy to plan with somebody you've never trained with before. So I think it's going to be a really fun, filled with lots of information. So I would recommend, Stacia, if you can do that, that's June 27th. But his ISM training is exactly all of that. How to use social media, what kinds of things to post, how do you go about getting involved to find the right people, and what do you say, and things like that. So I would definitely, you might pick up some tips there.
Okay. Yeah, because once I get them, once I get them interacting, I can talk to them. But I just would like more starting interaction, I guess.
And all I could tell you, I mean, that's not my forte nor Pip's. I spend most of my time reaching out to people. I mean, honestly, if it weren't for social media, Charlotte wouldn't be here, nor would Linda, because we all reconnected via social media. But we had long-term relationships from way back when. Hello, Walter. I see you peeking around the corner.
Hello.
Hello. So yeah, so that's not like my forte. So I would tell you definitely, you know, take a training like that and see what you can learn from it, because you might be able to take away some tips that would help you. Charlotte?
Mostly I steal yours.
You can steal whatever you want, because I honestly, if you've noticed, haven't been posting a lot lately.
You've been a little busy.
I've been kind of quiet.
The area you were asking about, the horizontal versus marketing, vertical, not a problem area generally for me, but I know that trips up a lot of people, and the whole, you know, MLM versus us. So I didn't know if that would be something people wanted to go over. I think I've finally started to feel comfortable with it, but.
Well, let's ask. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Lynn and Walter, you're so new. I don't know that you've had these discussions at all with other people yet. So they're going to be able to take away whatever we talk about. Denise, Paul?
I think I'm comfortable with discussing it. I just don't know when you would bring it up. Are you using it in the part one at all, or is this just a conversation that you're having before you bring them to a part one?
Either or, but always covering it. So whether it's covered in conversation, in that first initial conversation, and they understand it, or whether it's actually bringing up the slides in the first conversation to give them a visual to go with it, or if I've booked a part one because I've called someone and they agreed to evaluate, I'm always starting with cash flow quadrant, horizontal, vertical, and then going into part one. So I personally find it much easier to go into the evaluation of the business knowing where they are in their mindset related to what they've been exposed to. So I do think it would probably be a good conversation. Let me pull up those slides. Bear with me 1 second, you guys. Charlotte, you can entertain everyone, or Stacia, entertain everyone while I look for this.
Me entertain? I don't know.
I have not been able to find the slides that you have anywhere, the exact ones that you have. The abridged ones, the abbreviated ones that are on there, they don't have the cash flow quadrant in them.
No, you have to add them in.
Oh.
So I just took the cash flow quadrant from bb411.com.
Yeah.
Horizontal, vertical, and I took the picture and put it on a slide and put those 3 slides right before the abbreviated version.
Okay.
So, I don't know if I can get there because it's telling me I can't minimize Zoom while it's recording.
Huh.
So hold on. Let me see if I can do it this way.
That's weird. You could always do it before.
No, I had this problem the other week too. But I think I can do it this way. Okay, so let me come back to Zoom. Okay, now I can. I just had to find a different way to go around it. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so. All right, so this is what I have open. When I've asked them to evaluate, or they're coming and we've had a little discussion, or if for those of you who have been on the call with me, you know that sometimes I just will open it while we're on and I don't have this already up because I talk in so that we can all see each other. And then I'll say, do you mind if I share a couple slides? And then all I do, so if I'm on an initial call, I do not, oops, okay, I already have it hidden. I don't know if you saw, but our what do you call the slide with us on it? Our bio slide, like our bio slide. That's hidden. The only time I have our bio slide is if I am actually presenting. So you'll see if I go out of this, you can see that, oh, that's Phil and Sue. There's our bio slide. So I have that hidden. I only use that if I'm doing like, you know, a presentation for a group of people. But when I'm not doing that, I'm not bringing that up because I've already connected with them. So I'm jumping, and this one went because I already had it in presentation mode. So I've got to go back. So Denise, to answer your question, I have this cash flow quadrant, and then I have horizontal strategy, and then I have vertical, and then it goes into the first slide of the presentation. So I always have these available, but you can just click hide the slide. So if I've already gone through these in my first initial conversation, all I'm going to do is hide them. So when I come back to part one in the next meeting, I'm starting with that one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So Charlotte, I want you to kind of share with everybody some of the things that you've learned, because you've learned through, you used to be in presentation mode and you're learning how to go into conversation mode. And I want you to share with everyone what you've kind of learned here in terms of how to get this to be more of a conversation and utilize it to then get to the next stage of the game.
Starting with this slide right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna be talking. How about I talk to all of you? I don't know.
Just talk to one of us.
Okay. Stacia, your lucky night. So Stacia, this slide talks about linear versus ongoing income, and this is something I hadn't really learned about, even though I went to school for business and have an accounting degree. Are you familiar with the terms linear income and versus ongoing income?
No.
Okay. Well, this is a great slide that shows what's called the cash flow quadrant, and it's by a book called the Cash Flow Quadrant by a man named Robert Kiyosaki. Have you ever read any of his books?
No.
He's actually written quite a few famous books, the Cash Flow Quadrant being one of them, and Rich Dad, Poor Dad being another. But what I learned when I looked at this was that this quadrant has the 4 quadrants, and on the left-hand side as an employee and a self-employed, that's what they call linear income, where you trade time for money. I've been both of those, an employee, and then I was a self-employed consultant. But in either case, if I didn't work, I didn't get paid. The right side of the quadrant is where you have ongoing income, where you leverage your time and your money, and you can actually walk away as a business owner and the managers would still run the business. Or as an investor, you invest your income. And the goal for many people is to get from the left side, where you trade your time for money, to the right side where your money actually works for you and you leverage other people. And where on the right-hand side is where most of the wealth in the world is, and especially in this country, where about 95% of the wealth is on the right-hand side, but about 95% of the people are on the left-hand side because they're either self-employed or they're employed. Do you see yourself somewhere on this quadrant on the left or the right?
Yes, probably on the left.
And do you have interest in possible getting to the right-hand side where you're not always having to trade your time for money?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll continue.
Please
How's
do.
that, Beth? I don't know.
That was excellent, except for the last line.
I was like, normally I would just keep talking about thinking, well, I got to get to the next slide somehow.
Honestly, what would you do to close that out? Like, instead, would you like to continue? think of this as just a conversation. So would you like to get more information?
Okay, that's a good way to, yeah, and then you can go to the next slide and start more information.
Or you could book a follow-up.
True.
So here's the thing, if you're jumping on and asking somebody for a 5-minute or 10-minute conversation, you will have time to only go over this and then say, would you be interested to book a follow-up to be able to learn more about how to create that leveraged income? I mean, it's either a yes or a no. And some people say no.
Maybe.
Some people say maybe. If they say maybe, I'll say, you know, I don't want to waste your time, nor do I want to waste mine, quite honestly. So, you know, if you're not really sure whether you'd like to learn, you might know of somebody else. Would you be willing to evaluate it to see if maybe you could help someone else? And then if I still don't get a yes or a no, and it's maybe, to me, that's going to be a wishy-washy answer, and I'm not booking the appointment. I'm looking for a yes. Yes, I would be willing to. So again, again, Charlotte, what did you learn from this in the last couple times you've been using it? What have you learned from what you went from to what you're doing today?
I asked more questions. I add a little of my own story. Normally when I do this, I do a better job than I just did, but I actually, you know, made it more of a story, asked more questions, tried not to read the slide too much, and tried to interject some of the current events, like people, you know, always thinking that they would always have an income, and then look at what's happening. So try and make it current and relevant too.
All good points. And the thing is, I will just say this, it can always be current and relevant, because there's always in 24 years of doing this, there has never been a lack of reason for people to try and go from the left to the right, ever. So there's always something current you can relate it to. So very good. So I know, Lynn, I can't see you right now, but Lynn and Walter, you have not, I mean, you're just now really kind of getting going with some of this. Does this all make sense to be able to have this conversation?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions?
I just have to learn how to do it and be comfortable with it.
And the only way to do that, honestly, I would tell you to three things. Either one, just start practicing it in front of your computer with nobody. And then you can always jump on a Zoom, because Zoom is free, and you can jump on a Zoom and record yourself. And then I think, does anybody know you can record yourself on the free Zoom? Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
You're
yeah,
just in a meeting of one.
okay. So you can just record yourself and then listen back to it, or send it to like Charlotte or myself, because that's how we basically have been going through this over the last couple of weeks, and then we can help each other and tweak it. So I would just say that, to be able to put it out to us. And then honestly, it's just going out there and start sharing it with people and showing it. But I would not do that until you've had time for somebody here to listen to it and help you gather your story, because the story is so critical, and it's got to be so tight. And it's got to have that piece of what you do or did, what you saw in this that could get you to something different, meaning the business, and what you're excited about, so that some emotion comes into it. And then when you've got those pieces of your story together, you're going to fold your story into this conversation to be able to ask them. And again, asking, can you see, yourself in this? I like to also ask, I never like to say, do you see just you? I like to really say, do you know other people who would like to know how to get that? Are you around people like that? Because if they say no, it's really not their time, and that's okay.
I think what was helpful, Beth, the first time is watching someone else go through and have that conversation, and then you look at it and say, I could do that, and then you change it for a little bit for your story. But watching, for Lynn and Walter, like having somebody like you or I or whatever go through and do, not the presentation, but go through the slides and what we say, and that way you pick up some things and you feel more comfortable, then you can practice.
I agree. Do you have the link from the other week when we went through it that you can send to her? Or Do you need that sent? And also, I would also, Lynn, on the record, it's on,
Is it on BB 411?
no, it's on our private YouTube page. So it's Philip Black, right?
Yeah, but the links to the videos.
Our private. So we got to actually send it.
Yeah.
No.
So can you write that down?
Yeah.
I want to send you, because Lynn, am I right? You haven't been listening to any of the last number of Monday night calls? Was that a correct?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, so they're private links. And the reason we made them private, you guys, is because we want this to be a safe zone. We don't want people being able to go out and access you practicing. And that's not fair to you. So they're private links. So we will send you those private links to, the one is not private because it's actually me doing the lunch seminar. So that one needs to go out as well. And then the lunch seminar, you'll see me go through this in a presentation mode. And then you'll have the night that we all went through and we all practiced this slide. So, so does anybody have any other questions on this slide or how to have this conversation? Because this is your initial, and it doesn't have to be this slide. It could be just a conversation in person with somebody. And honestly, when I'm in person, I'll just say, have you ever heard of Robert Kiyosaki or the book Cash Flow Quadrant? And sometimes people have. And if they haven't, or even if they have, I go, well, the cash flow quadrant is 2 intersecting lines. So if you can imagine 4 quadrants, this is employee, this is self-employed, this is business owner, this is investor. And I just talk about it in the air or on a napkin if I'm at a restaurant or something. So you don't need to have the slide. Once you've practiced it, you'll be able to just have the conversation. So does anybody have any questions on this at all? This would be no, this would be yes. Speak
No.
up. This is an interactive call.
I don't see any buttons.
You don't see any buttons?
It's interactive. I don't see any buttons.
Ah. Interactive that you get to speak.
My husband tells me I talk too much.
Oh, did I lose Laura? Did Laura?
Laura had to go.
Laura had to go.
I
Okay.
responded to her.
Okay, thank you. So yes, so if
I'm
nobody,
here.
Is this slide on BB411?
this slide is on bb411.com.
As a PDF though, I was looking, that's why I couldn't find it. I was looking for a PowerPoint file.
I
And I
found
was not finding it.
It's a PDF that you have to then add to your PowerPoint.
Yeah, this is the one I'm finding. Can you see that? Is that,
That one's fine too.
okay. I just like that one better.
But yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the same information.
Is it on here too though? Are both of them on here?
What was that?
Are both of the slides on here?
You can
That's
take
what I
a,
found on BB411. The one I just showed you is what I found on BB411. I was looking for that, the one that you're using, the blue one.
Stacia, the blue one's also on there, isn't it?
yeah, it has white up on the top. What I ended up doing was running the YouTube video of the something in mimosos. And I froze the video when you had this up, and I did a screenshot, and then I clipped out everything but the picture in the middle, and it was much cleaner, and it didn't have the white up on the top. So
Okay, you guys, I'm going to email this slide out, but just a little tip in the future, just when you need stuff like this, just Google it. This is out like in Google Images. If you go and Google cash flow quadrant, you're going to probably find this in Google Images.
yeah, but it didn't have the stuff written on the bottom.
Well, I would bet it will because this is in so many different PowerPoints. But anyway, I'm going to email this out to you along with horizontal and vertical so that you guys can actually add it. And then just a reminder to get the rest of the presentation. That's the business presentation, the abbreviated version. You're going to go into your back office under your support materials and you're going to search abbreviated UBP and then download the PowerPoint. And
That one I've got.
and you'll have it all. And the only reason I can't send it out is because the file's too large for me to send, so I can't send it. So I'll just send you the pictures and you can create these 3 slides. Okay. All right. So what time is it?
We're at 9:48.
Oh, 9:48. Okay. So let me get out of here. I think my personal feelings are, until you guys get really comfortable having the cash flow quadrant conversation and the horizontal versus vertical conversation and bringing more people to part ones, we need to keep practicing this. Anybody disagree?
No.
Okay. So I think next week we're going to jump right into horizontal vertical. And but I encourage, the only way you're going to get practice with cash flow quadrant is to practice on your own Zooms with people, with yourself, on your computer, just something. And again, I encourage you, and I want to say, I mean, like Laura, you've recorded yourself so that we can actually look at it. Because here's the thing, until you listen back to yourself, you're never going to get rid of the ums. There's all kinds of different things that people do. Ums are one of them. Another one that people do is they have a lot of times they'll have a nervous laugh. And so you'll laugh when it's not really an appropriate time to laugh. And so you have to be aware of that. But the only way you become aware of that as a speaker or a conversationalist is to be able to listen to yourself. And it's a hard thing to do, but it's stuff like this that's what makes us successful. So
Another one is, you know.
That's another one, big one. Big one.
Yeah.
So very good. So Denise, I think you are our person tonight that has our rapid fire questions. Am I right?
Yes.
Awesome. So can you just get closer to the computer when you're doing them, because you are very hollow when you speak. And I think it's because you're so far away from the computer.
That better?
Oh, it is.
Okay.
All right. Before you go, can you explain to Lynn and Walter what these are? Because they haven't been here for.
Okay. These are questions about all different aspects of the business, and most of them are found in our trainings, like our Basic 5 or our new and franchise owner training. And so I'll read the question, and you have to raise your hand. And I guess, Beth, are you the monitor? You watching for hands?
I'll watch, I'll monitor.
So Beth will call whoever raised their hand first, and you have to answer the question. Yeah. So are we ready?
Yeah, and Paul, you're not allowed to answer these.
Oh, they're easy.
They're not. They're pretty easy, really, I think. All right, the first one. BV and IBV are calculated weekly each Friday. When is that information guaranteed as accurate by Market America?
Stacia.
If I heard, she cut out, but if I heard part of it right, it's if you have the orders in by Thursday.
You
Is
missed,
that
you missed part of the question.
Me to read it again?
Okay, I thought, never mind.
BV and IBV are calculated each week on Friday. When is that information guaranteed as accurate by Market America?
Charlotte, kind of.
I thought it was 2 weeks, but now I'm thinking it's a week and a half after that date.
Don't second guess yourself.
2 weeks?
Right. 2
Because
weeks.
that's had that happen when people return things. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when you get paid. You know, we meet our BV levels, totals, whatever, on that Friday, but you don't get paid for 2 weeks because they use that 2 weeks to guarantee the totals.
I think that's why you always see those 2 little asterisks next to those
That's right.
Yeah.
when you're.
That is correct. Denise, can I add to that? Because we had an experience this past week that I want to just give some people some insight. And I know that those of you who have been around for a while know this, but for those of you who are new, when you get to the point that you're earning commissions, make sure when you hit commission week, you always either print or save to PDF your detailed sales reports, as well as your sales volume summary report and your purge reports. And if you don't know what I'm talking about yet, don't worry about it because you're not there. Just remember that you're going to want to learn that from somebody who is a senior business partner when you get there, because that is what you can use to show the company if something doesn't turn out right for you. So we had a situation this past week where the reports from 2 weeks ago were not reflecting that someone cycled, and she thought she cycled and we thought she cycled, and it was not showing she cycled. All of a sudden she was at 49.42. And so because we had detailed sales reports printed out and summaries and purges, we were able to go to the company and say, this is what we have. It's not showing it. So what happened, it was returned product that brought her below that. But instead of taking it out on Friday night, because we could see the reports Friday night showed she was over 5,000 and well over 5,000. And she placed another order on Friday night and put it on her other side because she knew she didn't need it. And so it was obvious if she needed it, she would have put it there. And so they gave the check to her because we had those reports. So I tell you, always make sure you print, because, and everything happens in that 2 weeks. So basically about a week and a half into it, Denise, is when we looked and we went, oh my gosh, like where'd that volume go? Why is it at 49.42? So yes, that's why we have 2 weeks.
Good question.
Excellent question.
All right. What is required for a business development center to be able to accrue BV or IBV?
You blinked out. Could you say it again?
What is,
You just went out again.
You have to stop talking so you can talk.
Okay.
what is required for a business development center to accrue BV or IBV?
Oh.
You have to be qualified. You have to have qualified the center first.
With what?
Oh, with the 200 BV,
Yeah.
initial 200 BV,
Personal.
And then the IBV.
and the IBV.
Right. All right, number 3. Name 3 things associated with a green flush.
Three requirements or 3 things? You get a check. I mean, that's associated with it.
Just 3 things that are associated with that happening. What has to happen for you to get that check?
Well, you have to file a Form 1000. You have to be activated, and
That just affects the green flush. What affects the green flush? What causes it?
well, you hit increments of BV volume.
The green flush is at a certain increment.
Well, the 5,000 and the 5,000.
Right.
Okay.
And then what happens?
Then you reset to 0.
Right. That's the 3 things. You hit
Oh, okay. I was totally on a different wavelength of that. I think I was thinking requirements.
Denise, can you repeat the 3 things so that everyone else can hear them?
You hit the 5,000 and 5,000 in your left and right banks. Your banks reset to 0 and you earn a $600 commission check.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with it.
All right. What is accrual protection?
Nope, Charlotte.
Well, that's especially when you're registering your business. What it is that when you are getting ready to get to the next level where your 50 BV, 10 IBV, or whatever is going to increase to 100 and 20 IBV, if you've got that check and you fail to adjust your auto ship, it'll actually double your auto ship, so you don't not have the proper BV and IBV for the month.
However, it's also very handy if, for instance, one of your products goes on back order or discontinue and you didn't check that and you have that checked, it will just double your order to save your butt. I'm so distracted right now. I had got an emergency phone call, so I'm trying my best. Bear with me.
That's all right. Stacia and Linda and Walter, do you have any questions on any of these questions that have come in so far?
Well, I kind of do, because not the last auto ship I got, the order went through, but when my order came, the shoes weren't in it and it said they were back ordered. And they finally came later, but I guess maybe they weren't back ordered when they processed it then, I guess, but when it shipped, it was.
This is what they're doing right now, because so many things have been going on back order with COVID-19 and manufacturing. I mean, we've never had this many back orders ever. This has been very rare. So
I didn't double my order on anything.
No. So what it's doing is, for things that are on back order right now, they're processing your auto ship so that you don't, so it doesn't default. And then what happens is, as soon as it comes into stock, they're shipping it. So they gave you the BV, they processed your money, they did everything the way it was supposed to be done. They just didn't have the product to ship to you, but instead of giving you a voucher, they waited. If that product is not supposed to be coming in soon, or they're taking it away, or something's changing, then they'll ship you a voucher, just so you don't fall below your required amounts.
Okay. Yeah, I was just kind of like, oh, nothing got doubled on mine.
No.
Okay.
No, it won't get doubled until you hit that first commission check.
That was all I was curious about.
Matching shirts.
We do. Lynn and Walter, besides being overwhelmed with lots of new information, are there any questions?
Walter just said we don't know enough to ask any questions yet.
That's okay. Here's the thing. You are where all of us have been, and you're here gaining information and gaining knowledge, and that's all it is. It's showing up, getting the knowledge, and building a little bit each of it. And I want to say this, you don't need to know any of this to be able to go talk to people and bring them to Charlotte or myself or to Pip. You don't need any of this. The main thing is to get people to start looking at what is here to evaluate it, and seeing if they'll guide you or lead you to anything or anyone. And if they do, great, we're on the road to success.
Yeah, you get them.
You'll learn all this as we go.
That's right.
Because you'll watch us do it.
Basically, just get you some bodies.
That's right.
That's right. Just bring some bodies to Zoom. They can stay in their own home.
We'll do it on your schedule.
There you go.
Your timeline.
There you go. Denise, you have one more?
I do. One more. Final question. Where can you verify the last date a Form 1000 was completed by you or your personally sponsored team members?
Laura.
The qualification report.
Right.
Yay.
Good job.
Good job, guys. You know what? I honestly think these are helping, because it's making you guys think about the different things. Because even like Laura, you called me last week regarding a report, and you ended up learning something from it. We don't know what you do or don't know, what you have retained or haven't retained, until you have the conversation and you go, she's going, I didn't know that. Well, I had no idea she didn't know that. So ask questions. I mean, she called me on Friday night and said, I just want to make sure of this because I don't want to screw this up. And we went through it, and you were like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't. I never had to use it. And a lot of things you don't either keep in retention or you didn't pay attention to it because you didn't need it or you weren't in that situation. And, you know, in this business, we learn by doing and as we go. And that's why, you know, we're all just a phone call or text or email away to find that, you know, get that help with that. So it's always better to ask. Trust me.
Always better to ask.
Yes, always better to ask.
I know we're not used to having a team of people in our life. We're used to having a tribe of people in terms of what we look to as our friends and our support systems, our families. But in business and work, we're not used to having a tribe of people. We're used to having to look out for ourselves. It's kind of cutthroat. You know, it's dog eat dog world out there. And I think that's the hardest thing to get across to people when they're looking at this business or they're new is how much team support they have. And it's not just this couple people here. There are so many people that we can put on the phone with people or on a Zoom with people. And I mean, if you guys, you know, if you lead to somebody, we're always thinking, oh my gosh, you need to connect that person to this person because they'd be the best. No different than I said to Stacia, that you would be great to listen to that ISM training because I can't necessarily feed her need for what she's looking for on social media, but I know somebody who can. So it's connecting people to people. And we all, as Elizabeth was saying on the call tonight, she said, we're all one team because if we all work together, it just lifts everything. We are just growing and growing and growing because we are all working together. And this Zoom thing has made it crazy. The reason I was able to get on here so fast tonight is because in the first 10 minutes of our call, she got a call from Big Al saying, oh my gosh, Elizabeth, I need you. Like he's texting her. And she said, I'm really sorry, guys. He's not stopping texting me. Like he's saying it's urgent. So she took the call and he said, JR was supposed to be on my team call tonight to address the specific situation. And I need you to be on the call with me because JR just had an emergency. And she was like, I'll be there. So at 9 o'clock, she's like, don't let me forget, I've got to go. And at 9 o'clock, she was just talking. And at 9:03, somebody came in and said, Elizabeth, stop talking. You need to go. You're supposed to be on a Big Al's call. And it's 9:03. And she went, oh my God, see ya. And then I was out of there and here I was. So just know we are all here and I can't encourage you enough to go out and talk to more people, create more conversations. There are people just begging to find new opportunities right now. And if you don't talk to them, they're finding an opportunity somewhere. That's all I can say.
More 1099s than ever.
More 1099s than ever.
Actually, Beth, there's a woman I've been talking to that she's actually very high up in an MLM I used to be with. And she is leaving and getting out because of all of she says her upline is it's gotten nasty and her upline's trying to push her out so that she can get all of her customers to roll up under her and everything. So she's literally walking away from it. So I've been trying to non-aggressively as I can just talk to her about how different Market America is and everything.
Drip, drip, drip.
And instead of trying to convince her, just ask her, say, you know, tell her, say, I'm not trying to convince you, but I just encourage you, would you evaluate it? Because even if you're not interested in doing something else right now, you know people who are in your organization who are probably frustrated that you might be able to help. And you might see what I saw. Would you put your eyeballs on it?
I haven't asked her to look at anything yet. That's kind of part of the reason why I walked away too. I wasn't high up like her, but I, had issues with my upline sabotaging and things too.
Well, but your story would resonate with her. So I would definitely. And here's the thing, you don't want to wait. If she comes back and says no, that's one thing, but this would be my conversation with her. This may or may not be the right time for you with everything that you're doing. But I just want you to know that's really the reason I actually left that organization, because I felt there was so much sabotaging going on. And I was always looking for something. And I don't know whether this will be a fit for you or not at this time in your life, but would you be willing to at least just put your eyeballs on it to see maybe we could help each other in some way? I don't know, and no pressure. That would be my approach. Because here's the thing, if she's frustrated, she might be going, I'm never getting involved in anything like that again. And then again, she might be looking
Or
and going,
she's
what's my
looking-
next move?
She's looking for the next move.
She is. She's looking. I mean, she's flat out said she's walking away from like $80,000 a year, just
Okay.
walking away from it because she doesn't want any more to do with it. So she is looking for something else.
Then don't wait.
Don't,
No, I don't want to scare her either.
No.
You're not going to scare her. If she's making
Scare
that kind of money, you're not going to scare her.
I'm
don't,
old enough to be her mom.
you would only scare her if you try to talk down to her. Instead, ask her, edify people like us and ask her, would you get on the phone with them? Not for them to convince you, but to have a conversation, because these are also people who have been earning more than that. You got to match people to people. If she was making 100, if she was making 500,000 a year, I'd have to put her on the phone with somebody else. You've got to match people to people.
Yep. Yeah.
Good job. Go get her.
I'm trying.
All right, you guys, anybody have any last minute thoughts or questions? Laura, was that a raising a hand or was that your?
I was waving good night, but to piggyback on that, it is, don't wait. Stacia's going, but don't wait to talk to people because
Turn off the alarm code.
because just last week we did part ones and both those people had just signed on with another company. Two different ones. One last week and one the week before.
Yep.
So
You are looking.
they're looking and they're doing things. So of course they just did that. So they're going to give it a whirl and then, just put it on the check later.
That's right. Check that.
But just don't wait.
That's right.
Because I'm talking like 5 days prior. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Don't wait.
So just wait because most of them end up leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them, as Lori just learned, they don't even take 3 months because they get so frustrated with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
All right. Well, we will
Okay.
meet same time next week, same place. And in the meantime, anybody that needs any kind of help with calls, Zooms, whatever, reach out. I don't know what our week is going to look like. I have no clue. We hope there's a baby born here soon.
I think there is. I bet you're going tonight.
Well, my feelings are it's going to be tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to have a little redhead, but that's
Boy or girl?
a girl.
So,
But as you and I know, that's just what they told her.
oh.
I do know
Okay.
people who thought they were having one and then ended up with the other.
Yeah.
Well, I had a girlfriend that was having a girl up until the moment that boy came out.
Exactly.
Ultrasound, they kept saying it was a girl, and she gave birth to a boy.
Huh?
What a surprise.
Yep. So we've got a lot of pink outfits hanging in that closet. So, well, happy Memorial Day, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
You're
We're
welcome.
waiting to see the post.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.